Hi everyone, welcome back to your channel. This is the first video from series of the system alert to Telegram, and in this video I would like to explain that how you can write the backend code for the Python part with getting the data from InfluxDB, and in case there is some data which is passing the threshold, it push to Telegram bot for notification. So let's jump to the topic and to see that how it will work. As you can see here, we have some libraries, and these libraries are required for the writing our code. So the OS is important for reading the file, and in this scenario because we are using .env, and that part because we store the password into hidden, we can say, the file. It's not in the original code for the security part, so we need the import OS. Here we have a request because we have the endpoint API for InfluxDB and we need to communicate with InfluxDB, so we need the request as well. We do have the pandas library that is for reading some data and make it digestible and also as a table wise, so we need a panda as well here. Here we have the import time because we need to define the frequency, then how long should take from one notification to second notification. So in that case we would need to consider the time as well. This item for string IO is the most important part of this, we can say, coding part. And what is this? You can search in the internet, but very briefly I would, if I want to explain that this string IO, it look like one virtual memory which can read string from InfluxDB because it's coming as a we can say the string or text, and then make it object as an object file, CSV, readable for Panda, and then it will Panda will read it and make it as the table wide. If we don't use the string IO, then you have to first convert the string to the one file, save it somewhere, let the Panda read it, and then delete. So we want to avoid this situation. We will do first to put it in one memory. After that, it will read the readable for the Panda, and then it can it can make it as a table wide. Here we have .env. This data will save the password for InfluxDB, and also you have then the API for, or the token for Telegram. You have the chat ID, all this information which is important, and from aspect of the security, you can write it over there rather than just hard coding in your script, because you might copy paste to somewhere and then it's including all this part, so that is not safe. This is the most important, most safest part of the writing the code. Then you also need to load the .env, which is the file for coming this .env, and it will read this data. Okay. So we have the .env file which is in the same directory. You can save it over there. So that is the, this, we can say, the security part of your file. Let's get back to the code part of that, and here we have influx token, which again, it's already, the token is there, and you just give you the refer name. It's enough for your file, and rest of that you can load .env, which you already mentioned all this password to the file, which you can give the name as a .env. Then you can read all these, I mean the system can read all these, the tokens and security part. Then you have the influx URL, organization, and bucket. So all this information, it's, and also for Telegram token, for the chat ID, all this, the security part, which is part of the .env. Then you have the threshold here. You can define your threshold, and using the float, if you want to use for some decimal number, I don't know, 23.1 or 0.2 or something like that, it's also possible. So that's for we can say the threshold part. And this threshold, the target is for when it reach to this value, then greater than that value, it should send notification to Telegram. So this part is hard coding part, as I explained before. It could do something with the UI, and also the configure in UI, and based on that configuration it can change. But now currently what we are explaining is just only for hard coding part of it. Here we have the latest temperature, and why we are using only the temperature, because the temperature and humidity is coming together. So if you have one column as a temperature, definitely it should have the value in the humidity as well. It might happen the humidity have not, but it's the worst, I mean the most cases it's coming together, so that's why I am considering only temperature. Here you have the flux query, which is a special query that is not like a SQL query. It look like that one, but it has their own method, which you can read all these, you can say the flux query in the documentation of InfluxDB. But just I'm explaining some of the case which I used and the method. Here you have the bucket, which it's look like when you want to call in SQL. So definitely you need to call that table or that database. So in that case, here this bucket is for calling the table, and then you have the range here, which is a start minus 10 minute. So which means that it will check only last 10 minutes for the values at the last 10 minutes. I decided to check for the last 10 minutes. It's up to you. But the meaning of this part means the last 10 minutes. Then you have the filter, which again is look like when you want to use a SQL query, you use a where measurement equal to environment. So here exactly the same. So use the method of the filter, and you have such this format for defining your measurement value. Then here you have the last, because you want to see the latest value. It's always the one to be updated, so you want to see the latest value. not the entire of the value, or not for some specific range. So in that case is the last one. And here the most important part of the query of the influx is for using this format of the pivot, and you have to define we can say that for as a row wise of the data. Basically, you when you are checking the InfluxDB, it give you the data look like this. Each one of them, it's in one row. For example, there is a time, measurement is environment, and field is temperature, and the value is this way, and the humidity also in coming in another row. So it look like it's vertically, and we want to change it to the white style. So in that case, the white style which is coming is look like this, which are with the time, temperature, and humidity. So InfluxDB is defined as a vertically, but we would like to define it in this way. So that's why we have such this query here, which help us to define it in this way. Then we have the header for authorization and content type, which again is for the authorization is InfluxDB, and this is for the type of that. Now for this get latest temperature, we can say the function now is completed, and once it's come to we can say sending the endpoint, then we are going to try. So this part is for sending the API to InfluxDB. In this regard, you should use the request command and then use the post method. Here URL, you have header, you have the flux query, which is the query. This is the query of that. And also here it there is the condition. If the request for sending the command to the InfluxDB it's successful, equal to 200, then it will continue to do other action. Otherwise, it goes to the else loop, and it will finish as an exception because query already failed due to some reason. Might happen uh, the temperature, for example, value is not available, the column is not available, or it cannot do this query, so it will give you the fail. So now currently, if we got this success, it could read and everything was fine, then it will come here. This exactly the terms which I have explained about the string IO. For this part, it will come as a virtual like memory. It will save into memory as a text, and then Panda will read this CSV file and make it as a table data frame, and which is readable for the Python and so on. Here there is a condition, and it says that if the value is empty and also the temperature column is not available, then uh, it 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 shouldn't come to this loop, because if sometimes you are you are reading that it's as a successful, but it will read either this the empty value, or maybe the temperature column is not available, then it will crash your we can say the code and always give you error. So that's only the case for make sure the value is not empty and temperature column is existing. Then it will return the value as a float, which is the decimal, and that is the temperature value. And here using this method to make sure that it is coming for the latest value of this temperature. Okay, so here sorry, uh, yeah, I have explained about the error, and then we have the Telegram alert here. So here we have defined the message, which is sending the message as the greenhouse alert, and this here has the temperature, reading the temperature, and also checking the threshold, and it will send this information to this URL. So you will find this URL, you can use this, and of course you have to define the token, and also you have to define the chat ID and the messages which is here. And if all these cases are everything went well, then you have the loop here which will print this text here, and also get the latest temperature. If temperature is not none, then it will come here and is comparing with the threshold, and if is greater than that value, then it will goes to the send telegram for the alert. In case it's not passing the threshold, then it's come to the else, which is printing something different that is not required for sending the message to the telegram. Okay, I think now everything was clear, and we explained the entire of the solution and scenario, how it works, and how it will push this information to Telegram. The next session, I will explain how you can create your Telegram bot and how you can find your we can say the token and chat ID and so on. That is also very important for having all this information and complete this case. I will drop the link of the code below of this video, and you can find the code of this we can say the backend, and you can also investigate by yourself to play around with it, know how it will work. If you have any question in this regard, please drop your question in comments below. Definitely I will read and get back to you. If you think this video was helpful, please don't forget to like button, share, and if you didn't subscribe, please do subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the further videos, which I'm sure it's interesting part. But please help me to promote my channel, and it will give me more motivation to provide you the better quality of the video. Thank you again, and see you next one.